Next to the stage, we have Travis and Troy Nunnally. Travis and Dr. Troy Nunnally. They are the reasons why we're in this room today. Members of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, called the Tech Twins. Look around. This is theirs, y'all. This is theirs. They let us use this on the interests of Prophytes United. They're the co-founders of Brain Rain Solutions, and they are responsible for over 400 software developments in the Metro Atlanta, and actually across the globe. They have several patents under their name. Like, these guys are juggernauts. Responsible, I think, 50 million in valuation. I'm gonna jump into technology, because Tech Twins. So you all have been instrumental in a lot of software. You all have patents. You all are like the pioneers. I just consider you guys like the pioneers of black tech, especially within Atlanta. So how can we leverage technology for the next wave, as Rodney said, as well as building divine non-economics?
Yeah, so technology is a critical, and Rodney just touched on this. So we're pioneers, but Rodney has the arrow in his back, not us, to be realistic. So I mean, he was one of the first, and I commend you, Rodney. But for us, it's about building a legacy and building wealth, black wealth, building wealth, period. And in order to do that, technology is critical. So if you look at the top 10 most richest people in the world, those are your Bill Gates, your Mark Zuckerberg, your Warren Buffetts, your Arnauds. If you look at them, everybody either owns a tech company or have invested in a tech company or adopted tech as a strategy. Every one of them. And so that's critical when you start thinking about building, building D9 economics, building wealth in a D9 sense, is that you have to figure out ways to make yourself better, but make your company better. And the ways to do that is through automation, through artificial intelligence, through building products that you can leverage. Whereas one time you build it, but we call it build once, sell twice. You build it once, but then on autopilot, we can continually build residual income for ourselves. Absolutely critical. So as you start to think through your businesses, the future, technology is also ultimately critical. Also, we're looking at it from a business sense, but from an employee sense, you start talking about automation is even more critical. They say that most of the jobs moving forward is not going to be what's been traditionally for black-owned, black individuals, like your factory working jobs, your jobs dealing with, just your hard grunt jobs that you have to just work hard and over and over and over again. Old industries are all being automated through technology. So right now there's a shift happening in the wealth of America. A lot of the wealth is moving from blue-collar, white-collar jobs over to your more technology-enabled jobs. And it's critical that you get ahead of that by skilling up, making sure that you have some technology as a skill set so that you don't get left behind.
So one of the main purposes of technologies, or technology in general, is to accelerate. So when you think about trying to connect me to another person, yeah, I can meet you at a bar, but if I go to Facebook, that's acceleration, because now I can connect with hundreds in a matter of minutes. If I'm trying to connect with a business, I can go into a brick and mortar, or I can go to Amazon, where I can see hundreds of products in a matter of minutes. So when you think about D9 economics, what you got to think about is figuring out ways to accelerate your business, not just reach locally, but reach globally. And technology is the way to do that through D9 economics. So one of the things that we want to do, and we urge everybody to do, is to understand those strategies and come here, because that's what this space is all about. But understand the strategies to accelerate your business, accelerate your lifestyle, save time through technology. And that's what technology is all about with D9 economics.
All right, so let me tell you a quick story about this space, because I think what she just said resonates. That the pie, and I was telling, was it you or Dr. Meadows? We was doing a tour of the space, and essentially I was like, they asked me, how did we come up with this space that you're in right now? So I'm one of the co-owners, Troy's one of the co-owners, this is Kid Labs. This is one of our 8 equity companies in tech. And we were trying to figure out why we were competing against each other. We were at a bar, and we were sitting with a business partner of ours, and we was always fighting over the same deals. We was doing deals with AT&T, McKesson, Home Depot, Lexus, Toyota, and it's always the same people that's fighting over those deals. So we realized that the pie is big enough for us all, right? We was fighting over one piece of the pie, and we thought with the mindset of how do we make the pie bigger? And so we decided to do collaboration. That's what Divine Nine is about, is how do we collaborate better? How do we collaborate with one another? How do we collaborate, not just in Kappa Alpha Psi, but how do I collaborate with Rodney and OHUB and Omega Psi Phi? How do I collaborate with the Deltas, the AKAs, and so forth? So we wanted to build a network and a space where we can develop and build wealth in one cohesive space. And that's what really, when you ask the question about what is a prophyte, it's about finding the people. As a prophyte of my fraternity, right, I have neos under me, right? I'm trying to build them up and educate them to a point that they can be better. And so when you look at your person sitting right next to you, to your left and right, that's your next big deal. That person has your money sitting right beside you. Real talk.
Say neighbor?
I know. Members of the church. Yeah, they literally have the next, you and them together, two people together can be the next Captain Planet, I guess you want to call it, right? And so we always joke about that because we talk about the Avengers, right? We have in here artificial intelligence specialists. We have specialists in blockchain. Zach, where yeah, he was just sitting right there. We have specialists in virtual reality, our virtual reality studio, augmented reality studio over here, 3D printing studio over here, specialists. And together, because we have these different skill sets and specialists, I know I can't learn it all by myself. I tried and didn't work, right? But when we come together as one, we can build greatness. We can be great together. We can become Captain Planet or the next Avengers or the next Justice League, or if you are into superheroes.
That's perfect.
That $1,000, we'll give $1,000 of free technical service. I haven't talked to my partner yet, but I guess I have to chalk it up. I can chalk it up my own budget, but we'll give $1,000 of free technical service if you want to figure out how to expand your business. We will help you with that for no cost. Well, up to $1,000 to match what he just said.
So the key word there is value.
Right.
So when you're looking for a mentor or you're trying to mentor somebody else, you're trying to figure out what's the value I can add to another individual. Mm-hmm. So I like to distribute my network. I find a third of my network that's, for lack of a better word, that's that I can bring up, right? Mm-hmm. A third of my network that's my peers, and then a third of my network that's my mentors. And so I'm looking for ways, how do I add value to each one of those people? Is it through educating them how you bought the block? Or is it through somebody else teaching you how they built a skyscraper, right? Or Jessica teaching you how she bought a Hilton hotel, for example. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's the ways I really can add the value to my mentors so that, or mentees, so that I can make each other better. And that value is critical because a lot of people come to me and they take, right? So we, as Eric mentioned, we have $50 million in tech companies, and people come to us, oh, I see that. How can you make me better? How can you make me better? But I'm thinking, this needs to be synergy, right? How do we make each other better is the question that I'm asking, that you need to be asking. You need to not think about take, but the service to others. And that's what we're all here for. Like when I pledged Kappa Alpha Psi, it was about service. It's about giving back. It was about education. It was about achieving in every endeavor, right? And so when you come to a mentor or you go to a mentee, they have to have that mindset, and then you have to figure out how do you add value to those people. As Rodney mentioned and Eric mentioned, like we've been in tech for years. So I've been in tech probably since, 10 years old. 10 years old, we built our first, was automotive engineer. So I went to school for automotive engineering. The first thing I would challenge is don't be afraid of tech. All right, so the first thing I would say is like if you feel like you're not technical, it's not this scary monster in your closet. It's not, it's not, and a lot of people have this limiting belief that it is. And that's why I have to start off with don't be afraid of tech. But your question is, what's the first step? And I would encourage, and we see about 4 or 5 pitches a day, because we're, like I said, we're angel investors, and you'll be amazed at the people that just simply haven't wrote their vision down. Like, you'll be amazed. Like, write out who you're serving, what's your pain point, and then how you're going to solve that pain point, and just simply write it down and start coming up with ways that are what we call the gaps. These are the ways that your problem, assumptions that you think your problem is solving, but it may not be solving until you validate it with a real user, okay? That's critical. Until you validate that it solves a real problem with real users, then it's simply an idea. And I like to say ideas are worthless until you execute, right? And that first level executions take some action, and you took the first action by simply asking, what do I need to do next? All right, so Troy's probably gonna offer you some free services again. But feel free to, like, literally to talk to us, and then we can give you, like, that's step 1, but there's step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1,000, as you know, and there's iterations of it. So there's an unlimited loop where you're going to be continually iterating over and over again to get it successful. But once you're there, it's magical.
So in the technology realm, it's okay not to know technology. You just got to be able to market it really well. The reason I say that is because if you look at especially in the black tech, even in the tech realm, a lot of the figureheads wasn't technical to begin with. If you really think about it, they grabbed partnerships with technical people, and then used those partnerships to leverage their business. And for example, like if you look at some of the bigger, like you got Rodney, but then you got Jewel Burt, you got Barry with Collab Capital. A lot of times, you know, they called us. They called the people here in Kit Labs. And then they used us as a avenue in order to grow their company. So whenever you're thinking about technology, if you don't have experience, then one of your first steps after you write it down, that's the very first step you should do, is try to figure out places where the partnerships exist. And to be honest with you, you're sitting in a place right now, the whole purpose is to pair us up with business people in Kit Labs, because all the Kit Labs people are technical, where we build out technology for decades and years on end, and then we get paired up with ideas that you bring to the table, and then we help you in that process. So I say you're doing the first step now by being here, but then also write it down, and then from there, try to understand what those partnerships that you need to fill the gaps to grow your business if you don't have that expertise.
So I don't have a chant. So I'm sorry to disappoint everybody. But my call to action is very simple. So we're on a quest to help 10,000 tech founders. So if anybody has a tech idea and they need help with it, good fit, the person that just mentioned her question, we will help that founder get through the ideation all the way up to MVP, validation, start to scale that company all the way up to acquisition, and we'll follow you along the way. The second call to action is anybody's looking to skill up in a tech career. Kit Labs is here. So Kit Labs does a membership model. It's very similar to co-working, even though most of our income actually comes from corporate sponsors, so we actually do B2B. And we partner up with Microsoft, that we did an event with them a month ago. We partner up with Amazon Web Services, AWS. We did an event with them 2 weeks ago. And we're partnering up with companies like Visa, and we're doing an Insight Global event. So we're connecting people who are trying to, Facebook is one of our vendors or one of our partners as well. So if you're trying to get better and skill up in tech, and you need a better tech opportunity, or you're trying to skill up and become a developer or get into technical sales or anything like that, then come see me. Those are two, that's my offer. And besides the offer, Troy just gave you $1,000 free. So I'm trying to figure that out still, by the way.
I'm glad it's two of us because we can do multiple offers. So everything he said, if you have any follow us. Follow us at ilovetechtwins.com or I Love Tech Twins on social media, IG, Facebook. You can just follow us, and then we can go through we do different seminars, we do webinars, we do Facebook posts of how do you scale your tech business. So what we want to do, as he mentioned, is try to scale 10,000 founders through a ultra accelerator program where you will just come to us and we will guide you through the process to scale the technology, but also scale your technology business, which is not just technology, it's also marketing, it's also sales, it's also financials, and we can guide you on techniques to do that since we've seen so many different businesses and helped so many different businesses. So please just follow us, reach out to me. My number is 404. No. I had to play. But yeah, so yeah, just follow us on social media channels and reach out to us, and we always available to chat.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it, do it better than anybody you ever seen, do it, screams from the haters, got a nice ring to it, I guess every superhero need his theme